actually be on the radio was just really sticks out. And there's a videotape of it somewhere.
Funny story on the station that didn't make the film. I mean, there's so many. I don't know. Stretch and I mean, not only were we boys, not only did we become roommates, but you know, we were constant cats who hung out on my block, you know, which was 97th Street, where Curious also lived. And there was a whole slew of just comedians. And all we would do was just hang out on the block in front of the Goat Park, AKA Rocksteady Park, and just snap. And we would snap for like, not like 15 minutes, I mean, like literally we'd be out there for like 2-3 hours and we would just snap. And so we brought that element of like, no holds barred, we're just gonna joke on somebody up to the station.
Oh, man.
Unfortunately, you know, there were a couple of people who would visit the station who weren't prepared for that level of comedic onslaught. Scrutiny, yeah. And there was one person by the name of Kevy Kev. He was a college radio DJ at KZSU Stanford on the West Coast, you know, who I became friends with through my relationship with Def Jam, sending him records. And, you know, he lived in Queens, or he was from Queens, so he would come to the station. And one night he was up there, and it was just one of those nights that Tone Greer, Gary Gnu, me, Stretch, Lord Sear, we were all up there, we were all snapping. Kev was in the back. Kev wasn't taking part in the snaps. He was just chilling. Gary turned around and saw Kev, and Kev had the little tail back then, like Menudo, you know what I mean? But it was like past that being potentially cool. It was never cool, but it was never cool. Yeah, cool. I'm just saying, if you were a Menudo fan in the early 80s and you had the little tail, like maybe, you know, like, you know, all the Porter Rocks had the tail and stuff. Anyway, so Kev had the tail, and Gary turned around in front of 15 people in the studio, and he said, yo, Kev, you my man, but don't ever let me see you wear them sneakers again. And he pointed at his sneakers and yo, like everybody fell out there. See, he had on Avias. Now, Avias at one point in 1983 were kind of cool when they first came on the scene. In 1991, 92, no, like they weren't making anything that was fresh. He had on these real whack Avias. Do you remember that? And the thing about Kev, he was like 6'1", but he had like a size 14 or 15 foot. So like he had like the water skis with the whack brand, with the whack model, like everything was whack. Yeah, he got killed. That was the worst anybody got killed. What? The tail.
Don't ever show up with that rat tail.
Yeah.
Ever again.
And he had yellow teeth too, like something like a little baby peed in his mouth. with permanent paint, like.
Oh man,
yeah.
Yo, another victim, Brad Feldman.
Brad Feldman.
Yo, it's not a lot. I don't remember the details of it, but yeah, it's just in terms of like of dudes coming up not being prepared. Look, me, I'm not from the block, right? But I was smart enough. I was a little tricky. I played the back, but then I would jump out and give someone a quick one.
Little jabs, yeah.
And then retreat. And sometimes it was under the radar enough to not get it back, but I definitely caught it bad. But in terms of people that came up that aren't used to getting snapped on or snapping, yo, Brad Feldman came up. I forget who was he working for at the time?
He wrote for Night Magazine, NYTE, and he was doing a story about our radio show. It was a feature. I don't know if there was a cover feature.
But we weren't boys with him.
No, he came up for the first time to meet us. Stretch was DJing. So I don't know. So Stretch caught the snaps when we were live on the air.
Oh, he was getting snapped up off air where it wasn't even for entertainment.
This isn't this right. Yo, he was in a waiting room and Tone Greer, me, Lord Sear, and Big Ben, who was another dude from our block that just all he did was snap. And all these dudes look crazy. Like they don't have really the right to make fun of anybody else because in their own right they look nuts. But all five of us, you ever seen a boxing match where a dude just retreats to the corner and just goes like this? Yo, that was Brad, yo. Brad was in there like this. And yo, he had the hairy neck. And so like when he went like this, and we hadn't seen his back yet, and he caught fire for 45 minutes, and then we got on the air, and he caught fire from 6 people, because when we got on the air from 6 people, and this dude was from Boston, played hockey, like he didn't know nothing about snaps. I felt bad for him, yo. But you know what? He wrote an incredible article and loved it. You know, he loved it because he felt like he was like invited to
trial by fire.
Trial by fire.
He was anointed, but yeah, people liked it. The callers liked it. They loved getting snapped on, and it just became a cycle where, oh, they like this. All right, we're gonna snap some more. They liked it more. We snapped more. They liked it more. It just became the thing.
People will call up sometimes and be like, "Yo, I want to give a shout out," and we're like, "All right, yo, cool." And they'd be like,
"Not gonna snap on me?
You're not gonna snap on me?" Like, nah, but you cool. But no, like people would seek it. It was like, really, what is that masochistic?
Yeah. Did anyone? Did anyone ever cry, or almost cry, live on the studio?
Oh, nah, not that no.
Yo, M's would catch it repeatedly.
M's caught it bad too. Yeah. King M's from the Fly ID show. Yeah. Other than that, though, I say Kev and Brad.
Brad Feldman. Peace, Brad.
Peace, fellas.
I used the first Swiss beat. For anybody that don't know, I was the first one to ever use a Swiss beat on the first Lox album, All for the Love. That's the first Swiss beat ever known to the world.
The guy that drew that is the guy that is gonna be my MC. And it's like KRS-One, I think. So KRS' first affiliation with Boogie Down Productions that I can see is that.
Many memorable moments working with Heavy D, many. Like, I mean, we go back before making records. It's crazy, you know. I think about him every day. I dream about him. And you know, he actually took me under his wing. You know, made people realize that I was talented, you know. He bragged about me to people.
No, I think this was like maybe 10 years later. I don't know the exact span of time. This kid comes back with an embossed plate of food with Flavor's Bite out of it to get signed. The plate hangs on a rope.